Hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Easter rocker card using three different die sets, but one is just for the sentiment. So I am using Elizabeth Craft Designs number 1932 Easter basket, and I am using the 1929 the bunny to create it, and then the sentiment is from Karen Burniston's 1078 the Easter Charms, and that's just for the sentiment. So let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by just making the rocker, and all I've got are two circles, and I'm going to grab my school board and I am going to put my circle on, and I can see that my circle is 5 1/4. So I know that to score this in half, I need to score at 2 3/4. Okay. And whoops, I've done that wrong. Can you see what I've done? It's not what I've done. Not to worry, it will still rock. It will still rock and roll. What we'll do is we'll put that further down like so, and then it will rock. I don't know how I've managed to do that. Not to worry, we will cope. So I'm going to stick that on. Be a little bit more accurate with your measuring than I was there. And so, yeah, see, look, wasn't 2 3/4. I even wrote it on the back of this one to say score at 2 5/8, and I didn't read my own instructions. So all I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to put glue on here. You can always salvage these things, and then I'm going to stick this on so that it lines up with the bottom of that circle, and then we have our rocker card just like before. No problemo. Now, when using dies, it's kind of like, they're not construction dies, that's the wrong word, but I'm not quite sure what other word to use. If you have a look, we have a whole series of dies. Let's move some of this out of the way for the basket. So we've got all of these bits, and then we've got a similar sort of array of bits for the bunny. There are two ways to go with this. One is to cut them from pattern paper, and there are a couple of videos on the YouTube channel, one using the basket, one using the bunny, where I have used patterned paper and coloured card. But the alternative way is to ink, which is what I've done for this card. So in a moment, we're going to cut those pieces out, and then we will do some inking just to show you what I mean. But before I do that, I want to just do these two pieces of card for my matte and layer here. So I'm going to ink the edges of these cards. Now, I have not used stamping card for this. This is the kind of sort of cheap, thin white card that you can get in a lot of stores. But it will take up the ink, and all I need is it just to do that around the edge so that I've got the colour. So I'm going to grab my inking mat, and let me just bring in these two colours to start with. And I've used Kitsch Flamingo and Dried Marigold. So grab my brushes, pink one, not orange one. I do have more inks for everything else. So I'm going to start by doing the Kitsch Flamingo, and literally I just need enough to go around the edge. I'm not inking the whole piece of card. Like I said, this is not stamping card. It's not even supposed to be, I suppose, for blending, but actually, to be quite fair, this is going on quite nicely. It's just a cheap pack of 100, 100 white sheets in a pack, and so don't use your expensive stamping card, or if you have to, then gut the middle of it, because you don't really want to be wasting any more of that than you need to. So I'm going to put that aside so that it can dry. Just put the lid back on my ink, and then we're just going to do this one in our dried marigold. So I've gone for quite nice sort of bright, but not sort of, if I suppose, sort of on the brighter end of pastel for this card. There we go. So those are now ready for later, for when we assemble our card. And I am just going to clean this mat up, just so that I'm not going to end up in too much of a mess. Piece of rice paper, and then that's cleaned up. I'm just going to put that down there because we will need that again in a moment. Right, so we've got our rocker ready. Yeah, and we have our mats and layers ready. Now what we need to do is to cut out our bits and pieces for our rabbit. So I've got a piece of this is stamping card, purely because of it's going to be all on show. So let's grab the dies in, and I can explain to you what all the bits are as we go. Now I am not going to ink them all on the video. I'll show you a few bits, but I have all the others because, you know, it's only so much me putting ink on a piece of card that you need to watch. So we have the basket. So let's look at the basket first. The bottom of the basket comes in these two parts, excuse me. And if we look on the card here, you can see I've got a lighter bit underneath and then the darker bit. So this is the underneath bit, and this is the bit that goes on top. So you need both of those. This bit is the rim of the basket, and that's the handle. So all of those bits we're going to, and I am asking a lot of my machine here to putting all of these in one go, but we will see how it goes. Like I say, if it at home, you can do it in sort of smaller bits, take more time over it. And like I say, I've got it all cut out and ready anyway, so it's not going to be too much of a an issue if it doesn't all cut in the first go. So that's the basket. Then we have this lovely little piece of cloth that will go here. And I was I hadn't realised, or hadn't even thought about the fact that this bit underneath could actually be the same colour as this to sort of all tie in if you wanted. So that's that little bit of cloth that goes there. Then we have our flowers, which I'll put here, and the centres of the flowers. We have a little rabbit, which I'm not going to use on this card, so I'm not going to cut it. It's got little eyes and its nose and mouth. I'm not going to use that, but that comes with it, and I have used that in the other video where I've done the Easter basket. Another one that I'm not going to use is there's a bow that goes on the top of the basket here, but as she's got a bow, I didn't think I needed that. So that's another thing there. Then we have the eggs, and two eggs, slightly different sizes, so we'll cut those. And then we have the foliage, some leaves here, and they sort of go opposite ways, which is quite nice. So that's all the dies for the basket that come with the basket. Now let's look at all the dies that come. I will stick these down in a minute. In fact, let me stick those down now. I've got plenty of spare tape here. Stick them down, and then we can look at the dies that come with the in the bunny set. So like I said, I am rather loading this plate up. You probably want to do it in one or two more bits, sort of run throughs at home. Make sure that it all cuts. Right, so that's the basket. Let's look at the bunny then. So we have the face. Okay, and you get a little bit of embossing on the face to help you with the placement of some of the other pieces. But let's stick this lot as we go, if I can unpick all my tape. So there's the face. This bit is the main body, and this is the tail. I'll put that on. There. And then these two make up the ears. These are the outer and these are the inner. Work out which way they are on top of each other. Okay. Then these are the legs and the arms. So these are the legs, and these two little bits here stick on top of that to give them a bit more dimension. And then those are the arms. We have oh, this is the sort of pink part of the tummy, or whatever colour you want to do it. We have the bow, which we are going to use. And then there is a carrot. And in the other card where I've used the bunny die, I've shown how to use do that so that the bunny is holding the carrot. And this one, be careful with this one when it comes out of your machine. These little bits are very small, but you need them. So if I get my pokey tool, these are the eyes, this is the nose, these are the teeth, and these are the whiskers. Okay, so they are small, and they are important. Otherwise the face will look a bit strange. Now what I am going to do, do I need to? I do need to. So let's just cut the bottom of this off, because I'm going to, I've got two pieces there. No, I haven't, I've just got one. Oh, and I'm popping everything off. I'm going to attempt to also cut the sentiment down at the bottom here out of the cream card. So I'm going to grab that one. So remember, this is the Karen Burniston Easter Charms, and I'm just going to stick that down and get it to go that way. If I cut the card down, maybe. There we go. We'll see. We'll see. I am pushing it a little bit with this. So, because I have got so much on there, I am going to use my magnetic shim. So there's as much pressure sort of across the plates as I can. But we'll see how we go. If you're putting them through in smaller amounts, I wouldn't put the magnetic in. It doesn't really need it. It's just I'm asking it to do an awful lot in one go through here. Okay. Right, so let's see. Excellent. I'm going to lift the whole sheet. Okay, so some bits have already come off. We need that. Oops, we've got lots of static. That's our sort of neckerchief, not neckerchief. It's the bit of cloth for the basket. There's the face. These bits we don't need because they've come out of the basket. But be careful that you don't lose the whiskers, because the whiskers can get a little bit lost in there. Let's bring all this down. Right, let's see. Let's pop this sentiment out. I definitely need that one for our card. Right, there's our sentiment. We'll put that to one side. So I have the face. What else popped already out? So the carrot and the leaves for the carrot have already popped out. And two of the bits for the bow have popped out there. One of the ears, two legs. That's the two bits of feet. No, those are the two arms, and then two bits for the feet are there. Now, I would recommend, and I'm going to do this myself, some of these little bits, just pop them into a pot. Otherwise, they can end up just getting swept up or caught on your jumper or underneath something else. And you don't lose them. Do that as you go. Right. Try and put the dies back as we go. Excuse me, just watch is flapping around here. There we go. Right, so I'm going to turn this over and we can see this little bit. I have lost when I've been making things. Try not to. It's the middle of the bow and is really nice to have. I'm going to take this watch off, bear with me, it's just annoying me. What else? Let's have a look. Oh, that's the basket bit that's popped out there. We've got the handle. Pop them out. That's still stuck in. There's the handle. Okay. And there's the base. Now there are not many of the dies that are worth popping through for an emboss. And I'm not going to sit and poke all of these out. I'm going to poke a few of them out. They're all just being held in by the tape. Just a few to show you what I inked. As I said, I'm not going to ink everything because you don't really need to see. You see me do it once, just explain all the colours, but you don't really need to see me ink everything. So we just pop those out. So, what have I got? The tail there, I don't need to ink, so I can leave that to one side. And let me just bring in the coloured inks that I have used. Not that necessarily I'm going to use them all now. So, for this part of the basket, I used antique linen, so we'll do that one. For the actual outer of the basket and the handle, we don't need to do both, we just do the outer of the basket. I've used braid burlap. Okay. I used black soot for the eyes and the whiskers. And I tell you, that one was a little bit mucky doing, but it's worth it. But we're not going to do that one now. What else have I got? Bundled sage for our foliage. I used the Kitsch Flamingo for the inner of the ears, the tummy, the nose, and that piece of cloth. What do we use? I might grab the bow, part of the bow. Oh, I put it in here, didn't I? The bow for her hair. Just do that bit. I used the dried marigold. And I also used that for the carrot and for a couple of bits of the eggs. So I'll show you that. I'll show you one of the eggs. And what else? I used hickory smoke for the body, and we'll do a few bits in hickory smoke. What did I use scattered straw for? Oh, I used scattered straw for the flowers. Let's grab a flower. And then we can show you all the bits, but not all of it, every. So there we go. So let's just do a little bit of inking just to show you how I did it. Now, you don't have to use inks like I have. You could use alcohol markers, you could use watercolours, you could use pencils. I just because I can, and I like to use my distress oxides. So I found with you, because I always use the brushes with the distress oxides, I found that the easiest way to do it was literally to get some ink on and literally just do that. Rather than trying to sort of do that, I literally just found it was easier to just stick the brush on, wobble it a bit, and it's done. Okay, so I did the bow and I did the carrot, and I also did the top. I am actually going to do the bottom of the big egg this time, and I'm going to use this. This one I did do a little bit more like a blending. Okay, right, so what have we got? Let's do our braid burlap on our basket. And again, this one is big, so I can actually do my blending like not blending. Now I'm going to grab this little bit of an offcut of stamping card I've got here, just to stop me getting fingerprint marks or over the top of it. Okay, so there's our basket. Lid on that one. And I did, what else? The bit across and the handle of the basket with that. This is antique linen. This is for the underneath of the basket. And this is another one that's nice and big, and you can do the whole kind of... See, antique linen is not one I've used a lot, which is why my brush isn't particularly loaded with ink. Now I'm going to show you something that I've noticed on the end of this one. You see this bit here? I think I've still got a bit of tape. There you go. I could see it wasn't taking the ink very well. Sometimes, trouble is that probably won't take quite so well. It's not to worry, because that's going to be covered. That'll get covered by this. Sometimes you get a bit of residue from your tape as well, and that also can stop the ink going on. Oh, excuse me, I'm just going to pick the flower up. So this little one, just like I did before with the bow, because it's small, literally brush on, give it a wiggle. Flowers. I also did the centres for the flowers with the dried marigold as well. What else should we do? Some foliage with our bundled sage. This is another one where it's easier to just sort of kind of fiddle and just press in like so. Oh, I'm going to grab my no, I'm not, because I haven't done it yet. Kitsch Flamingo we'll do next. Grab my brush there. And this has got a really lovely sort of crisscross pattern on it. And if you emboss it, you get a little bit harder, sort of a little bit clearer, not harder, than I have on here. Okay. And then I'm just going to bring this back in so that I can do the other half of that egg. Okay, and then we did hickory smoke. That's the other thing. Hickory smoke for the body. Okay, so those are all the colours that I've used. Oh, the lid won't come off. So we've got the face. I'm going to put my little bit of there. Oh, need a bit more ink on my brush. There we go. Now, with the ink like this, it's quite wet. So I'm getting, can you see, because I've got a mucky mat, I'm bringing in the bundled sage to mix with the hickory smoke there. I would suggest, some of these bits are too small to try and heat blast, that I would do these possibly before you do anything else and put them aside so that they are dry. Okay, so that's how I inked everything. So let's just tidy this lot up, and then I'll show you how I put the card together. My inks there. The only bit I want from what I've done that I need is that egg. And I did the eggs before I put the card together. And then when I decided to put the carrot there, I was like, oh, we should put the orange at the bottom. So that's what I've done on that extra egg. Right, let's just pop those bits off and give our mat a clean. And then we will put the card together. There. So we have these two bits that we did earlier with our inks. I'm going to stick these on to start with. That, and I'm just going to use this card rather than smearing my messy fingers, sticky fingers all over it. And then this one. So by using the inks that I have used on some of the elements of the card, it then all ties in nicely. And then this bit on the top, and we can assemble our bunny in the basket. Right, I am going to bring in all my bits here, which hopefully are dry, as I've did them a few days ago. I'm going to just get rid of that. I'm just going to rub my hands, get rid of any residue. So these are my bits for the basket. These are my bits for the bunny. Yeah, so try and keep them nice and safe. So I'm going to swap that egg. You see, I'm going to swap that egg for this one that we did just now. Everything else I've got in here. Right. The way to do this is, first of all, make sure you've got your card like up the right way, so that you are going to your basket is going to sit in the middle when it rocks. So the first thing I'm going to put on is this part of the basket, and I'm going to open this one because everything else is going to need a fine one. We'll just this. And again, just make sure you've got your card. What I'm doing is I'm feeling for that top of that rocker and trying to line it up. Doing a very bad job of it because I'm dropping everything at the same time. Trying to line it up with one of the horizontal lines on my mat. I'll put that on. Okay. Right, next bit I'm going to put on is this bit that goes over the top. And I'm going to put some glue just along the horizontal parts of this basket. And then down the bottom. So that fits on nicely. So you can like I said, you could make that the same colour as the that little bit of cloth that comes over the top of the basket. Now, I'm going to place this on the card, but I'm not going to stick it down yet. And I'll explain in a moment. So I'm going to just place that there, and then we're going to stick the handle down. Glue on there. While that's there, we're just going to place the handle like so. Take that away. Whoop. That. Now. Right, now the reason I do that is because you can then place what you want to be in the basket against this edge here, and then this covers that up and it makes it look like everything is in the basket then. So we are going to have our rabbit. So put my eggs there, that's what I'm going to use in a moment. those are going to go over there for now. I'm hoping the flowers. Oh, the flowers are in there. That's okay. Flowers are in here. Right, now I'm not going to tip everything out. Because I don't want to lose some of these tiny bits like that. So I'm getting out, I've got the head of the bunny, the body. Now I'm not using the legs. I'm going to have to get it all out because everything's all over the place. Just be careful. I'm just saying it to myself, really not to you. These bits, these bits, which I'm just about to drop, these bits are the legs. I'm not going to use those because she's inside. This little bit would also fit on top of the foot like that to give it a 3D effect if you were using the bunny on its own. So those bits I don't want. So I want her head, her body and her tummy. I want the outer ears and the pink inner ears, and I want her hands. Now these smaller bits are the bits that go on the feet. These larger bits are her hands. Let's just put her face together. So there, it's hard to see if I don't know if I can catch the light there. Got a little bit of embossing to show that you've got an eye here. I'm just going to put a bit of glue and an eye here. And I'm going to find in my little bits here. There's one eye that goes in there. And this is where it's like, have I lost the other eye? Oh no, I think it's under there. Hiding under my carrot. There. You can see how small these bits are. So this is why I mean sort of keep them together as much as you can. So just there is where I'm going to put the nose, which is this little bit here. Like so. And then I'm going to just grab my my little brush liner and just sort of, excuse me if I'm going at a funny angle, it's just so that I can see it with the light. I am just going to follow the emboss line just to give it a little mouth. Oh, I don't know, mouth maybe, yeah. And then this tiny little bit is the teeth. Now they come out of, let me just grab the die and show you. They all come out of this die. Yeah, the eyes, the nose, the teeth and the whiskers. And this goes this way up, so the point goes up into there. And for the whiskers, I'm going to just draw in a couple of lines either side. And here are my whiskers. So one there, one there, one there, and one there. So there's a face. We're going to put that to one side. We're going to stick this it's more to the bottom than the top. Move that out of the way. And these go in her ears. Again, there's a kind of an embossed line which gives you a guide as to where to put those inner ear parts. So, there. Is there anything else to stick together? Oh, got the flowers. And we're just going to put the centres on the flowers. I'm going to grab my wax pencil, which I just moved. Put in those. Now the centres are 3 different sizes, so it's just a case of a random choice of which flower you put on which. Okay. Oop. Then we have the carrot, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there and place the carrot over there. And now this bow I'm not using. This is the one for the basket, so I'm not using that one, but I'm going to use the one for her hair. So a little bit of glue here. That goes on there. And a little bit of glue there. And then this goes there. Okay, I think everything is stuck together now. It's just a case of arranging, I think, now. So let's start with her. Ooh, we need the tail. Mustn't lose the tail. She needs a tail. That wouldn't be very good. Let's use the one we cut out. That's looking nicer. Right, so I am going to use 3D glue gel because it gives me a bit more manoeuvrability. And I'm going to put a bit of glue on the back, and I am going to put it there. Now I put that there because then when I put this over the top, it looks like she's actually inside the basket, and that's also why we don't need her feet. Let's put her head on, like so. Ooh, a little bit. And then the ears. Now I've tended to go, there's a more pointy end and around her, and I tend to put the more pointy end down and push it until the sort of the pink is just underneath or just touching the head. And same here. Push that under like so. And then we're going to put the bow on the top of the head like so. I'm not going to put the hands on yet because I want them to be over the top of the edge of the basket, but I am going to put a tail on just under there so that that also pokes out. Then we're going to put the eggs and the carrot. So we have one egg there, one egg there, and then the carrot. Just about stuck. The carrot like so. Then I'm going to take this piece and put it over the top. So now you can see that it looks like everything is in the basket rather than sitting on top. And then we just put her hands. Oops, I'm going to grab my tweezers to do this because these are quite little pieces. Her hands. Right, she's got hold of the basket like this. Like there. And I need this. Might have to push that underneath her hand there. Okay. It's one of the reasons I use 3D glue gel. Just grab her hand, move it back to there. There we go. Then we've got a little bit of foliage to put on the bottom. And I'm going to use the acrylic glue for this. I'm going to just, because I left a little bit much of a gap there, so I'm just going to bring that one in there so that it covers that little gap I've got. And then the other one, like so. I'm just going to grab my little bit of card so that I can give that a really good press down without getting my sticky fingers everywhere. Now cover that little join with our flowers. Oh, it looks like we've only got two. The other one's probably gone for a little bit of a wander somewhere. Oh no, there it is. There it is. The flower, like so. And then the very last thing is to add. Oh, that doesn't fit, does it? Right lid on the right glue would help. Is what I'm trying to say. So the last thing then is the Happy Easter, and we're going to use the acrylic glue for this one. As the place where this is going is fairly flat, there's not a lot of 3D, so this should stick quite nicely in there. And again, I'm just going to grab that piece of card so I can give it a good press down without my messy fingers everywhere. So there we have. Let's just check that she still rocks. Yay! Excellent. Right, so what do we use? We use these two great die sets from Elizabeth Craft Design. We have the Easter basket number 1932, and we have the bunny 1929. And I used a load of distress inks to colour it with some white stamping card. And our lovely little sentiment came from our Karen Burniston Easter Charms set. So something a little bit different for Easter. There are a couple of, in fact, there are 3 other Easter projects that will be on the channel. So pop along and have a look at those too, and enjoy your crafting. Thank you.